Anything is possible. It started with a dream. Our passion made a difference and built a family. We've grown strong together. You know it's all because everybody plays a part in doing what we love.
Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Donna Gray and I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator from the Northern Rivers area in New South Wales, Australia. I'm bringing you a beautiful, stunning card today using the Dove of Hope bundle. So this Dove of Hope bundle is absolutely a stunning bundle when it comes to Christmas crafting, and even I can see using it for wedding cards. Absolutely, so many purposes I think would be fantastic with this bundle. So let's get started. So we've got the Dove of Hope stamp set, you've got the gorgeous dies. So I've done a few things ahead of time just to save a little bit of time for you this morning. Okay, so I have a card base and I'm going to do a slimline card because these have been quite popular lately. So I decided to show you how to do a slimline card. So this slimline card, I've actually cut this at 7 inches by just the 8 1/4 size of our cardstock and folded it in half to give us that slimline look. And then I've got a layer of our brass foil paper, and then I've got a layer of our very vanilla, and I've cut out some of the die cut elements. So I've cut out the beautiful dove and 2 of the wings, and I've got a bit of ribbon there ready. So just a couple of things I'm going to do first. I want to put a little bit of embossing on this layer. Now normally, yes, I would have cut the dove all out of this layer, so to save foil cardstock. So if that's what you want to do, then by all means go right ahead. Just for the purpose of the video, I just had them already pre-cut. So I'm going to bring in our beautiful new cut and emboss machine that is brand new from Stampin' Up. Now I wanted to do a little bit of embossing on this top layer that we're going to have on the front of our card. So to do the embossing, we need to have plate number 1 for our machine, plate number 1, and just we have a plate number 4 for our embossing machine, so we're going to need that. Now what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to use our Tasteful Textile 3D embossing folder, and I'm going to emboss both ends of this layer of Very Vanilla for the front. So I'm actually going to pop one end in there, probably down to like nearly halfway. The only problem with this slimline card is our embossing folders aren't long enough to emboss the whole piece, but that's okay because I have it sorted that it doesn't really matter. Okay, so I've got that happening there on the top of the card, and then I'm going to pop the cardstock back into the Tasteful Textile embossing folder again, the other way, lining it up with where I've embossed to, and I'm going to emboss it that way. So that's how we can get away with being able to emboss a section. Sorry, emboss the layer when our embossing folders aren't long enough. So there's a little tip for you. Now you will get a line where that embossing folder is crossing over, but that's okay because my element's going to be in the middle of my my front layer, so that's fine. Okay, so I'm actually going to mount that onto my brass foil sheet to start off with. So I'm just going to grab some of my Seal Plus. Now when you're using Seal Plus with an embossed layer, you must take it nice and slow and use a gentle hand because you've actually broken down the bonds, the fibers in the cardstock. It can tend to, because this is such a strong hold glue, it can tend to pull up your cardstock. So make sure that you just do it very lightly. So then I'm just going to line that up on that brass layer. Straight would be good. Okay, So line that up on my brass layer. That's a bit better, much better. Just like that, and stick it down. Now, the reason why I used the Seal Plus was mainly because it's an embossed layer, so it makes your embossed layer lay down nice and flat onto your card, onto your foiled layer. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I have a piece of gorgeous vellum here. I'm going to pop that vellum. As I said, it was going to get covered, that line, so that's totally okay. So I'm going to pop that vellum on there. Now I'm actually going to just pop a little bit of our Seal Plus just in the middle there. You're going to see it through the vellum, but it's totally okay because my dove is going to go across there as well. So I'm just going to glue that down, and you actually can't see it that much, which is not too bad. Our vellum cardstock is quite good as far as the thickness, so therefore, yeah, it's not too bad as far as the glue being shown in behind. So I'm just going to trim that off, and that's going to give me that gorgeous layer. Now I've got some of our beautiful Very Vanilla ribbon that's found in our annual catalogue. So a beautiful Very Vanilla ribbon, and it's trimmed with gold, and I know I'm using brass, but the gold will still work with it. So I'm just going to turn that over and pop a little bit of Seal Plus on the back there to be able to pop my ribbon into that. So just like that and like that. So we're going to edge that piece of vellum, and I'm going to do the same thing down the bottom. Need to get that straight. I'm going to do the same thing down the bottom as well. Okay, so like that. And then I'm going to grab some more of that ribbon. I'll turn that over. We'll pop a bit of Seal Plus again on the back. Grab some of my ribbon. Pop the ribbon in. Need the Seal Plus down further. I misjudged where that was going to be. Okay, so Seal Plus down a bit further. That's better. Okay, that will be better. Okay, and across the bottom there like that. Okay, now in the stamp set, we have the gorgeous little ornament here. So I'm actually going to stamp that onto some Very Vanilla, which I have a scrap here beside me. So I'm going to stamp that onto Very Vanilla. I'm just going to stamp it with our crumb cake. When you are wishing to have a look like gold embossing, but you don't want to get out the gold embossing powder and the Versamark, crumb cake is a great alternative because it can look quite gold. So I'm going to ink that up, and I'm going to stamp that down. So just there, like that. I'm also going to take the Peace on Earth sentiment, and I'm going to stamp that in our crumb cake as well. So I'm going to ink that up. I'm going to stamp that just there. Okay. And we'll stamp it again because I smudged that one. We'll stamp it over there. Much better. All right, and that's the beauty of cardstock. If you make a bit of a smudge with your stamping, you can just move along to another bit of cardstock. All right, so then I'm going to bring in the big shop, the cut and emboss machine again, and I'm going to cut out those. So I'm going to, this time, I'm going to have my base plate, which is number 1. I'm going to have number 2. I'm going to have a cutting pad, which is number 3. I'm going to pop that on, and I'm going to grab my little die that's going to cut that out. So I'll run that through first. So we'll sit that in place where it needs to be, like that, and run that through. Our new cut and emboss machine is absolutely beautiful. Can you see how smooth that glides through? It is absolutely such a wonderful new cut and emboss machine. So there we have our little element. And then I'm going to, with the piece on earth, I'm just going to grab a punch, and we will use a punch for that one and punch that sentiment out. So thinking it will fit in here, and it will. So we're just going to go like that for that one. Okay. So now we're going to bring in our pieces, and we are going to assemble this card. So I'm going to pop up this onto dimensional so that I can pop it up onto the front of the card. So our sheet of dimensionals, we get 3 sheets in a pack. They go a super, super long way. You have 100 dimensionals per sheet. So you get 300 dimensionals in a pack. And they are only $6 in our online store. So, but it's a super, super great way of adding dimension to your card. And it just adds that wow factor when you add dimension and layers to your card. So I'm just going to take those backings off. And then I'm going to mount that up onto the front of my Slimline card. So we're going to bring in our Slimline card. I'm just going to turn it sideways so I can mount that level. So we're just going to, okay, mount that up onto the front of the card. So I'm just having like a 1/16 inch border all the way around. So it's a very minute border all the way around. All right, so now with our dove, what we're going to do is I'm going to glue one wing just there like that. This wing is actually going to sit on the body of the dove. So we want the wings to look like it's in flight, like so. All right, so this one I'm going to glue down directly onto the front of the card. So I'm just going to use a little bit of Seal Plus on there, and that will be enough to hold that wing in there because the other bit's going to glue on. So I want that wing to be sitting just like that. Then the body of our dove is going to come in through here. And then this wing here is going to pop up there. So I'm actually going to glue this one directly down as well. And then I'll probably pop that wing up. So a bit of Seal Plus on the back there, getting our dove positioned where we want it to be. So like that. Okay, this one here, I'm going to put some little mini dimensionals on the back of that one. And I'm going to pop it up just along that wing line. So I'm just going to pop some mini dimensionals here along that wing line because that's going to glue onto the body of our dove. And I might even be able to fit one just in there, which I will. And that will give it a good sturdy adhesion to the body of the dove. So I'll take all those backings off and we'll position that right there where we want it. Isn't that just a stunning set of dies? Like, honestly, this dove is gorgeous. And then from its beak, we're going to have our beautiful little element popping down there. So I'm just going to a little bit of seal just on that, and we're going to pop it just coming out like it's holding the ornament in its beak. Okay, and then we have the piece on earth, so our sentiment layer there. So I'm going to pop that one up onto dimensional. Actually, there is a snowflake. I think I'm going to do a snowflake just to make that a little bit more interesting, that sentiment layer. I'm going to grab the little snowflake out of the set. I'm going to grab a piece of scrap paper, which I have there where I stamped that. I'm going to ink up my crumb cake and I'm going to stamp off so that we get a lighter version. Okay, so I'm going to stamp off 3 times. You ready for this? 3 times. I just wanted to do that so I could see. And pop that over there. Stamp off 3 times and just off the edge of the page there. Stamp off 3 times and 1 just there. Now that has just added a little bit more interest on our sentiment layer. Hopefully you can see that there. A little bit more interest just in that background on the sentiment layer. So I'm going to pop that one up on dimensionals. And we'll pop it on the front. So just here like that. Okay. We will tie a gorgeous bow and pop that to the left of the sentiment. So we're just going to tie a quick bow. Yeah, and tie that to the left of the sentiment. So we'll just trim that off. I have my worst set of scissors. I'll just grab a new pair to trim that ribbon. My scissors have been cutting a lot of cardstock. So you should always have a pair of scissors that are just for ribbon. All right, so I'm going to pop that on there. So that's looking really, really pretty. So I'm just with some Seal Plus again. I'm just going to run a little bit of Seal Plus just on here. You can use glue dots for this. In my area here where I am, glue dots aren't, they don't hold the bow. So that's why I use a little bit of Seal Plus or a bit of tear and tape. Okay. So now I've got the insert to go in this card. So there's another beautiful saying here. May your season be filled with all the wonder and blessings of Christmas. So I'm going to grab that and mount that onto a block. And we'll ink that up in our crumb cake. And stamp that right in the middle there like that. So we've got, may your season be filled with all the wonder and blessings of Christmas. There's also a beautiful leafy branch here. So I think I'm going to ink that up, but I'm going to stamp off. So I need that scrap piece of card again. I want to stamp off because I want this to be fairly light. And then I just want to go over to the edge of that sentiment. So you can see it just adds a little bit of something there around that sentiment just to make it not look so bare. So I'm then going to glue that to the insert of my card. So using my seal. Okay. And then pop that on the insert of the card. Now these cards will fit into like a legal letter envelope, okay? And then just to finish it off, we need a little bit of bling because it needs just a little bit more to make it super special. So I'm going to grab our gilded gems that we have. These are also available in our annual catalogue. And I'm just going to pop a couple of these gorgeous gems around. So I'm going to pop one there. Just going to use the small ones. One there. And one just down there. And I also need to pop a glue dot under that sentiment because it's sitting on my ribbon. So it's, you can see it's wobbling around a little bit. We don't want it to wobble around. So I'm just going to grab a glue dot and up underneath that ribbon, pop that there, and straight away that made my sentiment layer sit perfectly. Doesn't move at all. All right, so, and I think one final touch, a little bit of Wink of Stella. So I'm going to do some Wink of Stella on our gorgeous, beautiful ornament. And then another little trick just to get some beautiful shimmer and shine. I'm just going to, with the lid of my Wink of Stella, I'm just going to flick Wink of Stella on the bottom and on the top of the card. And that just gives a gorgeous, beautiful shimmer and shine. I don't know whether you can see that in the video, but oh, it looks absolutely beautiful in person. So there you have my quick slimline card using the gorgeous Dove of Hope stamp set and the detailed Dove dies. So anything that I have used in my video today can be purchased through my online store, and you will find the links down in the show more box, or you can see here, you can go to donnagray.stampinup.net, or you can call me on my mobile 042172 5015 to place your order in person over the phone, because I would absolutely love to earn your business. So once again, my name is Donna Gray, and I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator from the Northern Rivers area in New South Wales, Australia. If you live in Australia, you can shop with me. You can join my team. I would love for you to join my team. I have a wonderful Wild Heart Crafters team that we are a great crafting community. So if you've been thinking about joining Stampin' Up for a while and you live in Australia, I would love to have you, invite you to be a part of my Wild Heart Crafters team. You get to choose $235 worth of product, and you only pay $169. If you love that beautiful die cutting machine, you may want to pop that into your starter kit, and you only pay $169. So you normally would pay $209 for that die cutting machine. You can get it for $169, plus you get a little bit extra money to spend as well. So thank you, everybody. If this is the first time you have watched my channel, please feel free to hit that subscribe button down in that bottom right hand corner and turn on the bell notification to make sure that you get notified every time I go live or upload a video. So thank you everyone for watching, and have a wonderful day. Bye for now.